With April being National County Government Month, we wanted to give you a behind-the-scenes tour of the Ada County Coroner's Office. And our tour guide today is none other than Ada County Coroner Dotti Owens. So Dotti, tell me, what happens in this space back here? We're on the outside of the Ada County Coroner's Office, and there's a loading ramp.
So when we get a call, we're dispatched from either the hospital or from dispatch, Ada County Dispatch. Bodies are loaded into the vans, and they pull up, they back up on this ramp. Everybody's unloaded, and then we come into intake.
Okay.
Once we get into intake, we actually weigh the decedent in the cot. The decedent gets a thumbprint done. We enter them into the computer, and then we actually will make sure that we do an identifier, so an armband or a driver's license or something identifying that decedent, just to make sure that we've got who we've been told we have at the hospital, or so on and so forth.
Is this a place where, like, all their personal items would be put into?
No, everything comes in and is at this point with the decedent and with the deputy that's bringing the body in.
Okay.
From here, once the body is in, the intake process is complete, then we go ahead and we store them in the cooler. Our cooler holds up to 23 bodies, so we'll side by side them, and then on the weekends we end up having to stack. And then this particular area is actually our freezer. So if we have someone who's been down, a decomp that's been down for days, or we have a public administrator case, they actually go into the freezer so that they're not just stored out in the cooler.
Okay.
And then from here, the deputy will come, they actually go back into investigations and they'll enter their case, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. So in this particular room, this is our autopsy suite. This room right here is our evidence. We have an evidence dryer, so if clothes come in and they're soiled, we'll hang them up to dry. We also store other evidence. If we have anything else that's removed from the body, goes in here until we release it to law enforcement. In this room, we have portable x-ray machines. All decedents are x-rayed when they come in before we do an autopsy. So everything's pulled. Then we come into this. This is our autopsy suite area. This is where everything occurs. We'll either do a full autopsy, we'll do a partial autopsy, or an inspection. And we're actually, right now, we're busy enough, we're using both rooms, so we'll have a main autopsy going here, and then a second one going into this other room right here. So we're running two at one time, usually 5 days a week.
Are you required within a certain number of days by state law to
We
get
don't.
them?
We try to get them done within the next 24-hour business day. Weekends, so cases that come in on Saturdays and Sundays, we'll do an autopsy for Mondays. Our Mondays, we usually have 8 to 10 posts that we're doing. And then out of counties come in as well. So this room is constantly busy. As a matter of fact, today we had one in here not even 30 minutes ago. So
how many other counties within Idaho do you contract
33
with?
counties. 33 counties and additionally 3 reservations.
So if they have a deceased person in their county, they transport it to the Ada County Coroner's Office and you perform the autopsy?
Correct.
Wow, that's a lot.
We stay really busy. This room is constantly busy. Everything in here, from our bone saws to surgical tools and implements that the doctors need. We have 3 forensic pathologists, and we've always got 2 tables going.
Okay, so from the autopsy, the body goes back to the
body goes back into the cooler until it's ready to be released. Usually we try to release to a funeral home within 24 hours so that families can start making plans. And then at that point, once the intake process is complete, the investigator has a whole different role. So I'll show you that piece next. This is our investigations room. As you can see, we've got a lot that goes on here. This is Jessica Mitchell. She's one of our supervisors. Jessie, do you want to explain what happens in here?
Absolutely. We've got 10 investigators that work out of this room. A lot of where everything happens, we're called out by Ada County Dispatch or from the different local hospitals. We respond to the scene, and when our investigator gets back here, this is where they order the records. This is where they go through the property and inventory and count medications. Sometimes a lot of times discussing things with families and doctors.
So this is a rancher from over in eastern Idaho that went missing in 1920. His identification needed to be made, so the bones were brought here to identify and lay out to make sure that we had all of him, or what we did have of him. We had his shoes, we had contents of his wallet, watch. I believe there was a pistol that was found with him. The bones show weathering from being exposed to the elements. And there is a gunshot wound to the skull, which led us to believe that it was a suicide. This one is a donation skeleton that was given to us for study and for comparison. When we get other bones, there's surgical implements on bone over here. And I believe this is an antelope, so that we can start to identify when we get random bones brought to us by law enforcement, whether they are human or non-human.
Recently, the Ada County Coroner's Office became only the second coroner's office in the nation to hold dual accreditation with the National Association of Medical Examiners and with the International Association of Coroners and Medical Examiners. In addition to being only the second coroner's office to hold dual accreditation, the Ada County Coroner's Office is only the 89th facility of medical examiners and coroners in the entire nation to be granted this achievement.